All right, good morning. It is 8:32. We're going to call the Transportation Policy Committee to order. First item of business is we do have a quorum of the Policy Committee. Moving to the third item is safety procedures, and those are in your packet for reference, as Judge always likes to say, follow Mr. Atkinson.
That's right.
Agenda item 4 is public comment and acknowledgement of guests. Is there any public comment for today's session? Seeing none. Acknowledgement of guests. I know we have some TAC committee members being here today, so thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you all being in attendance. Okay, moving right along. Agenda item number 5, approval of the minutes from the May 21st, 24 meeting of the Transportation Policy Committee. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion from Mr. Atkinson and a second from Dr. Wilson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Okay. I don't want to mess that up again.
He had his budget meeting yesterday, so it's all spinning.
Yeah, I got all my fingers right here.
That's what I have to do.
Okay, agenda item number 6, discuss and take appropriate action regarding the MPO's plan to request the district engineer's approval of administrative amendment for Upland, 82nd to 98th Street by adding $3.55 million, and turn it over to Mr. Jones.
Thank you and good morning. And I'm sorry you all are sitting in the dark up there. I don't know what's the deal with the lights, but we'll proceed anyway. The agenda item number 6 is a administrative amendment item, and the backup really says it all. In order for Upland Avenue 82nd to 98th to make a June 25th let date, the city of Lubbock has requested that we move $3.55 million from another one of their projects, an Upland segment, to the 82nd to 98th Street segment, to make a total project commitment in that regard of $10,720,000. There's no issue there. We have precedent for that. If one sponsor transfers money from one of their own projects to another. And the only reason it's on the agenda this morning is in the past we've had some difficulty with squeaks. We've had some difficulty with everybody catching up and staying in the loop, so we thought it'd be a good idea to bring it to the committee just so you know what we're doing, and the amendment is in your backup, and with your approval we'll go forward and execute that amendment.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions, comments?
It's appropriate for a member of the city to make the motion here, but I will move that the MPO approve to request that the district engineer, Mr. Warren, approve the administrative amendment to fund $3.55 million to the Upland 82nd to 98th Street project.
A motion from Judge Parrish and a second from Mrs. McDonald. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously. And I just realized I did mess up. I'll jump back up to the acknowledgement of, or back up to agenda item 2, and recognize that we do have Mayor McBrayer from the city of Lubbock now on our policy committee. So welcome Mr. Mayor McBrayer to our committee. Okay, jumping back down into item number 7, which is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding the required public input initiative in regard to developing the proposed Metropolitan Transportation Plan to 2050 and all associated required components of the 25-28 TIP Transportation Improvement Plan and affirm a recommended list of priority projects. So I'll turn that over to Mr. Jones.
Thank you. The purpose of our discussion this morning is to discuss the results of our recent public involvement campaign associated with the ongoing development of our long-range plan and the 25-28 tip call, and to determine if there's any reason, based on the results of that public input so far, to, number one, change the priority project list recommendation that you will discuss in a few minutes. And number two, if you need to advise the consulting team of any public input that might change or impact the direction that they are taking right now in the development of our updated long-range plan. So to begin, I want to spend just a minute and show you, the slide is already up, and show you the breadth of our solicitation efforts and the impact on the two charges that I gave you. This slide shows the zip codes of the little green dots, shows the zip codes of the 24 of the 35 guests who attended the in-person public meeting that we had in our office about 2 weeks ago. Notice the central city, that'd be council districts 1 and 2 generally, and the commissioner precincts 2 and 3 generally, is where the majority of those people who were in attendance live. In a minute, you're going to hear a bit of a different story about our online results, and you'll see the complete coverage of all of our input, public involvement efforts. Additional impacts on that effort include the identification of what are called Justice 40 committees or communities, disadvantaged, underserved, lower income, or above the threshold for one or more of the environmental, climate, or socioeconomic indicators prescribed in the current surface transportation law. The displays that we have over here in the back, and I think there's one over here, will give you an idea of how we did that assessment. And while we're not going to do a deep dive on those boards this morning, after the meeting, if you want to stop by and visit about them, the staff will certainly visit with you about that. Now, for the third leg of the stool, Martine is going to come up and give you the results of both of our surveys. We had a street survey and a pedestrian bicycle survey associated with our planning efforts, both for the TIP and the long-range plan. And so, Martin, come on up now and go over those surveys.
Good morning. What I first wanted to point out to you was that based off the public input that we requested and that we sought on the Transportation Improvement Program, to date we have received 441 responses online. Based off the bicycle survey that we did in conjunction with this survey online, we received an additional 125 responses to date. Today I'll be discussing the 441 responses. The first slide you see is the zip code slide. This represents 100% response rate on this one question. We received every zip code in the county responding. We received about 40% of the zip codes on all the counties that touch Lubbock County, and we received responses as far as Corpus Christi on the survey. And that was just one out in Corpus Christi. We received a few that were a little bit further out. In those comments, on the additional comment from that, they have individuals that they care for here locally, and so they come into Lubbock County on a somewhat frequent basis, and so they felt like they could respond to that survey. So as far as being able to state, do we receive comment from every section of our constituents? Yes, we did. One of the questions that we asked is, how often do you travel within Lubbock County? 97% said daily. What is your primary mode? There's not really a big shock here. It's vehicles, cars, but we did receive a response of 2% that were bicycle and pedestrian. So those individuals who take transit, we wish that we would have been able to get a little bit more of that community to respond to this survey, but we did receive responses from those individuals. So we do have a portion of that constituents that responded to this type of survey. The number one thing that they want in a network, transportation network, is convenience of use. So ease of use, they wanted that to be about 4.6 was the vote for that. The next item up that they wanted was travel time. They want to be able to travel throughout Lubbock County in a easily manner, but one that is quick. And then the next is cost. So they do take into account of cost, and that is something that's very adaptable. Most areas that you take a look at, as gas prices go up, transit ridership goes up. When gas prices are down low, they end up using things that are a little bit more ease of use, and so they use their personal vehicles. And that's not to say that they don't use other modes like walking or biking, but that's usually the trend nationwide, and it holds true here as well. And then we did ask the question, are you aware of any current transportation project in and around Lubbock County? We wanted to see how informed those individuals who are taking the survey were, and we had a really good response rate of 63%. So 63% said, yes, I am aware. 36% said no, and then we had a small little sliver that said, I'm not sure. But 63% were aware of our transportation projects around here in the county. And then we asked the next question, where have you heard about them? And most of them have heard a pretty good split between local media and in between the county website and the city website, or the social medias from our stakeholders. And then we asked the question again, what is your biggest challenge when trying to travel around Lubbock County? And as you can kind of see, roadway maintenance is one of the biggest issues that kind of pop up, then traffic congestion. And again, we use that as relative to their experiences here in Lubbock County. They feel that there is, a little bit of that traffic congestion. And then we asked the next question. We are considering a variety of transportation improvement projects with significant larger budget than funding availability. Knowing this, what type of projects would most likely come up to the top of your list? And then 89% were saying in roadway improvements, widening of lanes, intersection improvements, and those type of projects. That goes again and follows trend with the previous questions, and so we know that they are tracking.
Mr. Lucero, sorry.
Yes.
On that previous slide, do you happen to track what the other was?
Other, we always left a box for comments, and unfortunately in this section they just put other and they didn't leave any comment. And so unfortunately I can't answer what that other was. And so then what we ended up doing was grouping our projects and asking those 400 individuals to make a response on behalf of each one of the regional type of projects. And so we asked for the city of Wolfworth, pick your high priority projects, and 66% said for the city of Wolfworth, we think the most important project is Alco from US 62 to 66. 33% were saying FM 179 from US 82 to 1585. For this county, this is interesting. For the county, 441 responses, 36%. We're indicating there the highest priority project out there would be County Road 2500 from Woodrow Road to FM 1585. With the close second, 21%, Safe Streets for All. and prioritizing high pedestrian, walking, cycling shoulders, given those areas of the county that are a little bit more rural, that don't have pedestrian facilities, some place for that pedestrian to be. And so like wider shoulders give those individuals a room and a space to walk. It gives vehicles a place to have a breakdown lane or have individuals a bike lane if they would wish. Followed by 20% for County Road 7300. For the Texas DOT projects, 31% indicated there, FM 179 from US 62 to FM 1585. With the second place, close second, on Loop 88 from 114th to half mile east of US 87. I believe that's 3D, if I remember correctly. For the count, for the city of Lubbock, we had so many projects there. I think it really just split the baby up quite a bit there. And so this one was a little bit more difficult for those individuals to kind of answer. You got a huge response gamut there. 24% were indicating there for 66th Avenue or 66th Street from Alcove to Upland, with 9% indicating there the Alcove connection down, and 8% for the 50th Street. I know we just completed a 50th Street going in and out, but this is the 50th Street going from the current connected 3 lanes to a full-blown principal arterial 7-lane facility. So this is a little bit different than the project that was just completed. This is adding more capacity, more east-west connection. So to go back, we do have a response rate that's pretty high. That response rate is really important when you're trying to kind of go back out and indicate there if you've met all the requirements under Justice 40, Title 6, underneath all the federal planning requirements of were you able to make contact with every type of constituent and every zip code, those protected classes, were they able to give a response rate? By doing a public meeting in person and then doing the virtual, you were able to state that yes, we did give multiple opportunities to different individuals to be able to make a response rate. By getting the zip code, we were able to proof up that we were able to get a response rate that indicated that everybody had an opportunity to make a comment. The other thing that's really important here is it kind of shows that individuals who are outside of Lubbock County really do have an opinion on the experience that they receive when they come into Lubbock and interplay with our community and how they feel our community is able to help serve their needs when they come in to shop and play and work. And so that's also a very important thing to note here as well. At this time, I'll go ahead and give the presentation time over to Mr. Jones to be able to continue on with the presentation.
Martin, is the survey and everything still open for public?
It is. It's open for another 2 days.
Okay.
Our public comment period started on June 18th, and so we're carrying it through July 18th. And so we do have, if I believe right, what's today's date? Sorry, you think I would know. 16th. So it is 2 more days. In 2 days, we will close that. We will seal up all the public comments and tally them. We don't anticipate too many more coming in online, as we've already received a huge amount of response. But if there is a bigger response, say for some odd reason we get another 100 responses, we'll make sure we buckle those up and then tie them up and make another report to the committee. But we will have those all given back over to our consultant team to be able to put in an appendix so it's included within the MTP as part of our public outreach.
Thank you.
So, in summary, as Martin has already mentioned, I believe that we have successfully discharged our responsibility with regard to meeting our required public involvement commitment, not only for developing the program of projects for the long-range plan update, but also the call for the 25-28 TIP projects. So that being said, let's review the TIP Okay, this slide, well, it advanced too early. There. This slide is a slide of the projects as they were submitted to us in response to the call. And as we have discussed before, the staff performed 4 different examinations to arrive at a net score, or a set of scores, that were used as the framework for a recommended priority list that you'll see in a minute. One of the scans that was used was called Decision Lens. Decision Lens is a software that was purchased by TxDOT, made available to the MPO community to use specifically for project selection efforts. Remember that the value matrix for the Decision Lens software was discussed and approved by the policy committee. What you see here is a reference, the bullet points, is a reference to the basic criteria that are measured with this tool. The Decision Lens University supports this software and maintains its operations. So here are those Decision Lens scores presented in rank order. A second scan tool that was used is called COMPAT. COMPAT, or Congestion Management Process Assessment Tool, is a software designed for MPOs and TxDOT through a contract with TTI, Texas Transportation Institute, and TxDOT to assist MPOs with their congestion management requirements while providing additional resources to accomplish performance-based planning and programming, corridor analyses, and roadway performance reporting, among other things. This software is supported and maintained by the Texas Transportation Institute. And there are the COMPAT scores. A third scanning tool that the staff used is called NEPA Assist. And you can see again the criteria there that NEPA Assist measures. NEPA Assist is a project selection tool developed by FHWA to facilitate the environmental review process by examining social, economic, and environmental impacts. It also draws environmental data dynamically from EPA databases, and it contains an environmental justice screening component. This tool is supported and maintained by FHWA.
Excuse me, could I ask a question? Who was the organization that manages this assist measurement? You gave an acronym.
Federal Highways, FHWA.
FHWA.
Federal Highway Administration.
Okay, thank you.
And I will add here that the added emphasis throughout this process on using these tools comes from the presidential executive order that created the administration's Justice 40 initiative. And its emphasis on additional public involvement for all transportation programs. And here are the NEPA Assist scores in rank order. In addition to the 3 previous tools, the staff also reviewed the policy committee's goals effort that was approved in 2019, and I'm blocking the measures. And as with the other tools, the general criteria is relatively the same. You measure environmental impacts, safety, mobility, reliability, resiliency. We had a freight movement function in there. We had a tourism function and again a public participation function. And there are your goal scores. And I'll note here, after we get through this process and we get an approved, updated long-range plan, we'll bring this goals work back to you and freshen it up. The next two slides show you how the TAC, your advisory committee, scored their discussions after reviewing these previous tools. This is the first page, and here's the second page where more of their scores show up. This is their selection that they thought they wanted to go to the let position, if you will, in the 4-year window for the new tip. They discussed a sense of community, a sense of sponsorship, forecasted goals, planning, value to the network, and this is their interpretation or their priority list that they wanted to go to let. And here are their scores, again, presented in rank order. This slide shows where the staff normalized all the scores. These are weighted scores. They gave Decision Lens a 40% weight. They gave the combined Compact, NEPA Assist, and the Policy Committee Goals scores a weight of 30%. And they gave the tax scores that you just saw 30% for a total score. And here they are presented in rank order. This slide shows you the total combined score and the list of priority projects that the TAC discussed and wanted to advance. And here's that slide without the box in the middle of it. This shows all their scores, the total scores with a list of projects. And now I want to introduce Michael Mangum, who's the chair of the Policy Committee, and he's going to visit with you for a minute and talk to you about how the TAC arrived at their recommended list of projects. So, Michael?
This is only Cat 10, though. Yeah. All right.
Morning.
Morning. Hello, I'm Michael Mangum. I'm the chair of the Transportation Advisory Committee. And during our last meeting, we went over, the list of projects, but all we were worried about is the 4-year window for the tip. We have not done the Cat 7 stuff for the 7-year and the longer range plans yet. We will take that up in the next couple meetings, but we did do all the projects from the Cat 10 in our last meeting. So what we did, we took all the scores, the sponsors brought their projects in that were eligible for the Cat 10 that they wanted to be considered. We talked through the projects. Each sponsor got to go over that with us, and then we once we got the list, then we also had the deal with Cat 10. The funds need to be spent faster because there's some that are going to expire pretty soon. So then we discussed which of these projects could happen the quickest. So that helped us prioritize what to put in the 25, 26, and kind of where to place the projects. So when we went through those, if you see on your list, the Cat 10 column there, the City of Lubbock traffic, various intersections, that one's one that we don't have to go get right away. It's an easier one to do, so that's why we put that one in the first year at $1.3 million. The city bus project is, it's sidewalks, ramps, shelters, any kind of passenger amenity stuff along the routes and get where people can get to the routes, even if it's a few blocks away. And that project, that money, if it's awarded, will be flexed over from FHWA to FTA, and then once we do that, we'll be able to spend that faster and get some of those. And we have quite a few of our shelters and areas and our stops and areas that there's no sidewalk connecting them. It's hard for people to get to and connect into our system. So that project is a large project, but it's split over these 4 years plus another 2.9 million. It'll be even out in the out years past the tip. So, but we split that up into so much per year. And then the county EV, that's the planning, the 200,000 is the planning for that. And it's going to take them a little while to get it together, but she thought they could get that done in the second year. And then we started the Loop 289 lighting project, and it'll be over a 3-year project, and we put some in 26, 27, and 28, and give them time to get ready for it, but get that project completed. So those are the projects that we narrowed it down to for the CAT 10 and that we put in for these 4-year for the TIP. So any question on that? Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
thanks for being here. And
No
thanks
problem.
for your work. Just curious, the county EV project, you said this is planning, so just give us a 30,000-foot
Jennifer,
on that. See Jennifer in the back.
Yeah, I was like, she'll know more about the project than.
Morning, Jennifer.
Morning.
Good morning, Jennifer Davidson, Director of Public Works. This project was because we are, as the MPO, we are going to be receiving additional funding if the administration continues on that. And so the last round of solicitation for that, because we don't have a plan, it just went out to the general public. And so if we continue to get EV money directed to the MPO, that we can develop a plan so that we can appropriately cover our county for where we think electric charging stations should be. And so it's just a planning document if we continue to get money for that type of funding. So, and being with the sponsors that are represented in this body that we have, Lubbock County was the overarching one, so that so that Wolford could participate, the city of Lubbock could participate. Slayton had come to several of our TAC meetings and wanted to start participating, and so it made sense for the county to be the overarching sponsor for this project. And it's just a planning document of where we think a charging station should be placed in our infrastructure.
Thank you. So this is CAT 10 money that is specifically allocated to the Lubbock MPO?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And specifically tagged to EV infrastructure?
Correct. And so, if that funding continues to come, that we would have that ability to help guide where those places, where the stations would go.
Thank you.
Any?
Yeah.
Oh, pardon.
Let me give you a little snapshot really quick. At your desks, or not your desks, above there, where you're sitting, there is a category description for each type of funding pot. If you'd like to take a look at what those funding pots include, it kind of is a cheat sheet from the Texas DOT UTP that indicates how and what those funds can be spent in and how you can utilize those funds. And so if you'd like to take a look, you can really take a real quick look, go down to category 10, and then you can kind of see what is available there for spending.
Anything else?
Mr. Jones, maybe more of a question for you. Can you explain why, I guess, ATTAC at this point only took up the CAT 10 funding for this process?
It's the only money really that's available to program.
So I guess in the 4-year window, if I have this correct, a 4-year window, all the other categories are fully subscribed, would that be? And then
Programmed.
CAT 10 was not?
Correct.
Okay, and so the TAC will take up the 10-year window.
We won't do that until August. The commission right now is studying a draft of the 25 UTP, and they will approve that if they do like they have in the past in August, which will signal our opportunity to start a new 10-year plan. And so we'll pick up the rest of this funding spreadsheet that goes out to 2033 or 2034 now in August with a new 10-year plan.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Okay. Seeing none there. Anything else? Mr. Jones?
Just to reaffirm what we need you to do is to, if you're of a mind to, approve this project list and conditionally, and we'll go through 2 more days of public hearing. If we have any earth-shattering comments that come in 2 days, we'll come back to you, but likely we won't. So we'll take that approval and then bring you a resolution to memorialize not only this effort, but our consultants' efforts in the update of the long-range plan at that time and get it ready for a September approval. We need you to do this so that we can get it in the pipeline for the November call for quarterly revisions so we can get our 25, 28 projects uploaded in the TIP portal.
Couple questions of Mayor Brand.
Yes, I noticed on this list that you gave us, there are no Category 8. Do we not have anything available in Category 8? Or is it all expended? Or
The MPO doesn't directly get any Category 8 allocations. Those funds are all carried through the district.
Good. Mr. Warren?
So how many people actually attended the public involvement, not the survey? How many people?
At one time, we counted 35.
35.
24 people signed the register and put dots on the board.
Okay. And how many people roughly, I'm not going to hold you to this, live in the Lubbock metro area?
In the Lubbock metro area, 320-odd thousand.
Okay. I was just curious. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. So.
Mr. Chair.
Go on, Mr. Atkinson.
Thank you. David, could you email the presentation that you went through that had NEPA Assist and Compat and Decision Lens? Could you email that presentation to the board?
Sure.
Thank you.
Very good. Anything else, Mr. Jones? On this item? Anything else from you? Okay. All right. So the action before us is to approve the list of priority projects that was presented for advance to TxDOT and TP&P for approval. So I'd entertain a motion for approval. So moved. Motion from Dr. Wilson. Get a second? Second. A second from Mr. Warren. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Any opposed say nay. And motion carries. Thank you guys for that. Agenda item number 8 is discuss and take appropriate action regarding the proposed statement of revenue expenses to support the development of the 24-25 and 25-26 Unified Planning Work Program, which is the UPWP in around here in the MPO world known as budget. So we'll turn it over to Martin or Mr. Jones.
Okay, we are currently working on our 2-year budget, as is most everybody else at this time of the year. And you have the the proposed statement of revenues and expenditures in your backup. So I'm going to go directly into that discussion. For the year 25, you can see our full-time salary line item, 8,002. It contains a 3% increase, although at this time we don't have any indication from our fiscal agent that there will be any additional money, but we went ahead and planned for one, and if there is an increase, the money is there. If it's not, that money falls to the bottom line. You notice that it shows a $12,000. Well, you don't see it there, but oh yeah, you do. $12,000 reduction, and that's because we lost Daryl. He retired. But other than that, it's a 3% raise. Part-time, we show an increase. In part-time, we have one part-time person. We'd like to bring the discussion back to you when we bring you the UPWP to add another part-time person to the budget. So that's the increase there. Stability, there was a small reduction in stability because we lost Daryl. Small increase in terminal pay. We're starting to build back up our terminal pay line item. Daryl cleaned that one out pretty good. The retirement, small reduction in retirement again for Daryl. Social Security increase based on formula. Group insurance, that's just our guess. Nobody at the city, at least right now, has an idea what's going to happen with insurance, and so that is our. It's just a guess of what's going to happen with insurance. So if we have an increase, we're protected. If we don't, again, it falls to the bottom line. Workers' comp is a formula. Life insurance formula. Dental, again, that's just a guess on our part. Small increase for dental insurance. Supply category, there's no change. In the professional services category, that's my contract and our legal contract, 3% there, just in case. And if we don't get a 3% increase, well, that money falls to the bottom line. Boards and commissions, a small increase there. Coffee went up $50. IT services, we added another drop for our part-time person, so that is going to increase a little. The biggest increase is in a line item 8406, contributions other. We're showing an $80,000 increase. Now remember, in the past we've had two sub-consultant agreements in that line item, and they are there again at the same amount of money, $114,400. That's our GIS agreement with the City of Lubbock and our city bus agreement with City Bus. But we plan to add $50,000 for a safety plan that the commission approved and is in the works right now. We don't have a contract, but TxDOT has a contract with TTI to develop MPO safety plans, and they're in the process of doing that. But that money is to pay for that effort. And then we're going to add $30,000. You heard Jennifer a while ago talk about an EV planning document. That $30,000 will help our contribution to that effort and to other safety planning efforts. So that's the total increase there. Then if we move to year 26, oh, I'm sorry, we need to keep on going for 25. Liability insurance, a small increase. Again, that's per schedule, 7% increase. Our rent is a 2% increase per our agreement. Training and travel, we increased by $10,000. Airfares going up, rent cars are going up, hotels are going up. We have additional training requirement with our GIS effort now from TxDOT. So we have several more trips to Austin for training. Our computer equipment, again, we added a computer for our part-time person. And so for the year 24-25, we're showing a $162,000 increase, or 22%. Again, largely due to that $80,000 increase in our programming effort. Otherwise, it's hardly an increase at all. So look over to 26.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Atkinson.
Thank you. David, just real quick before we jump into the following year, you remind us what the current carryover balance is for the MPO?
Last time I looked, it was 930 some odd thousand.
And did we, I may have forgotten, so this could be on me. Did we end up to where some portion of that carryover balance is being paid to get the MTP finished?
Mm-hmm.
And how much is that?
400.
Okay, so it's going to pull it down to 5. Okay.
Mr. Warren.
Mr. Jones, that $80,000 increase, I may have missed it, and I'll apologize if I did. Does that include that $50,000 the commission is providing to every MPO to develop safety plans?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a
Yes, it
big
does.
chunk of that is from that money from the commission. Okay, thank you.
Is that money, that 50,000, is that in our revenue number
Mm-hmm.
at the top?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to year 26. If I can find 26. Okay, we're showing a considerable increase in our full-time payroll. Again, there's a 3% increase in there for salary adjustments. Of course, we don't have any way of knowing what's going to happen in 26, but if we get something that's there, if we don't, it all falls to the bottom line. And there's another full-time person in there. I won't be here in 26, and you'll need to fill another full-time position there, so there's money for that. Part-time is a $1,500 increase, hopefully for that person that we talked about in the last year. We'll bring that back to you when we bring you a UPWP. Stability increase, Martine gets stability in 26. Terminal pay, again, we're just trying to build that account back up. Retirement, Social Security, group insurance, all those are based on formula with one added FTE. Professional services, a big reduction there again, that I won't be here. So there's your reduction. The only thing left in that account would be your legal services. 8309, at this point in time for year 26, that's just an estimate based on kind of what we've experienced in previous years. Liability insurance, $300 increase by agreement. Rent, again, is 2% increase by agreement. And so for the year 26, we're showing only a $16,652 increase, or 1.9% is all we're asking for in 26. So that's my That's my budget presentation. Now, we'll, if you approve this is our marching orders to go back to the UPWP and transpose all these numbers into our budget document. We'll bring that to you next month.
Very good. Any other questions or comments on the budget? Mr. Warren?
Again, regarding the item 8309 IT, not IT, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, 8406 contributions.
Yeah.
I was under the understanding that 50,000 from the commission was going to be an annual event. Is that a one-time shot in the arm?
That is still at issue.
Okay.
When North Texas Central COG originally proposed that to the commission, they were talking about carrying it through, at least through the current surface transportation bill, which would be 2026.
Okay.
The commission, when they approved the $50,000 to each MPO, they didn't say if it's ongoing or not. So it's still at issue at the commission level.
So it could show up.
They could or they could not, yeah.
And being on the safe side, we're just not indicating it right now. Okay. That was it. Thank you.
Very good. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, then I will move that we move forward with the fiscal year 25-26 UPWP.
So got a motion for approval from Judge Parrish. A second? Second from Mr. Warren. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Thank you guys for that.
Thank you.
And the agenda item number 9 takes us to our reports. So turn that back to Mr. Jones. Finish us up.
Quickly, the status on our Metropolitan Transportation Plan, we continue to have status progress meetings every week, every 2 weeks. The consulting team is still on track for an August approval of the document and a September adoption. We are currently reviewing Chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is all we've already done the first 3. So we're moving right along, and what you did today with your project list goes in that same pipeline, as does our congestion management piece and our public involvement piece and our Title VI plan. So when we come back to you in August with the resolution that I mentioned to you for your work that you did this morning, that'll all be included. You have an election cycle coming up in October. And recall that your current chair, Mr. Mandrell, is filling an unexpired term of Dr. Addington. And so...
Ms. Patterson-Harris.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Nonetheless, it's still an unexpired term. And if we honored our typical rotation, it would be time for the city of Lubbock or the county to serve as chair. So with those ideas in your head, you need to think about who might be your next chair. And then our monthly financial report is through May. May is 58th percentile. You see that we are nearly 89% collected on our revenue, and we're 53% on our expenses, so our budget is in good shape. Questions?
Any questions, Mr. Warren?
Mr. Jones, I seem to have heard you say in the last segment something about you not being here after 2026. Is this item 9 today your attempt at weaning us off the endless report portion of this meeting to prepare us for the next occupant?
Could be, Mr. Warren, could
Okay.
be.
I won't even call you a quitter. You've been around quite a while, so.
Since
luck to you.
1970.
Very good. Any further comments, questions? Very good. Well, it is 9:27, and we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your attendance. I know you're all busy, and we appreciate you being here.